What do you know what episode this is?
52, right? Now I know because we were going to do the golf thing at
51 was golf, which was to JJ was the hottest day on the golf course. Did y'all? I had some people who watched the YouTube. First, they liked it, and they're like, "Hey, that wasn't too bad." They wanted to see every shot. I don't know what happened from hole 3 and 4, but none of that video transferred over.
I'm not the media producer, so
no, you transferred the video.
So I started getting confused on what video is what. So I don't know. But the green, like we did we shouldn't have done it on a time when the greens were punched because that kind of took some of the fun out of it because we weren't really putting that.
Yes.
But yeah, we'll do it again.
We'll do it again. We'll definitely do it again.
When the greens
I think we do it again in about 2 weeks because those greens, they should be close to back now. How do they look? Have you seen them?
Well, I went on the main course and those were rolling pretty good. You could see a little bit of them, but they rolled good like a normal green. But when we played, there was so much sand and it was like fresh, punch.
Yeah. It had to be 3-4 days ago before when we played.
But yeah, the normal greens look back to normal, but they always kind of do that fast 5 after
Yes. Okay. So, a lot of stuff has happened in the golf world since we had a podcast that was in studio or over Zoom. So you had the Northern Trust, you had the BMW, and then now the field is set for the Tour Championship. So just little, background.
So I didn't watch the very end. Did Patrick Reed stick in that 30 spot? I think he did.
Patrick Reed is 30th. Yes, he did. But people are saying that they haven't said it was COVID, but when you're in the hospital with double pneumonia.
And he has an ankle injury or something.
He hurt his ankle before the Olympics. And then they said he was pulling out for the first part of the playoffs because of his ankle. But then I saw on PGA Tour Radio, he was in the hospital at Memorial Hermann with double pneumonia.
It'll be the first time that they call it, usually they're calling pneumonia COVID. So now they're calling it pneumonia? I don't know.
To me, come on, man. Let's be honest. Patrick Reed, he's not in the greatest, or it doesn't appear he's in the greatest shape.
Well, maybe this is karma catching back up with him because it's happening at a terrible time.
It is. Ryder Cup.
Playoffs, Tour Championship, and the Ryder Cup.
Yes.
There's no way you could pick him for the Ryder Cup.
No, of course not. And he would have had to been a captain selection anyway. There's no way he gets picked. Yeah. No way. Matter of fact,
if he played and kept playing solid like he was, he probably would have been a pick because he does well in the Ryder Cup. So,
and we'll do our Ryder Cup episode next week after the Tour Championship. But just to talk about it, I think Kisner gets that last spot that Patrick Reed would have got. I think Kisner.
And he's good too. He's a good match play player, won that World Golf Championship, and he's a great putter. I was listening to something about you put him with a Tony Finau, he got that long game with that putting, and they're unbeatable.
And then here's a weird one, and we're gonna, and again we'll save this, so we're just previewing it a bit now. Did you know that Kevin Na changed his citizenship to try to qualify for the Ryder Cup this year?
Wait, yeah, I remember hearing something, but he was Korean, South Korea?
Yeah, he's South Korean. He wanted to play in the Ryder Cup.
Mainly in L.A.
Yeah, but he's still, South Korean. That's his citizenship. So he changed his citizenship this year to make the Ryder Cup. And he's not going to make it. He's not going to make the team. That's what's sad.
So he doesn't have dual citizenship?
No, he to make the Ryder Cup team, you had to get the green card and everything for
How has he not played on a President's Cup team?
That's what I wanted. I wondered the same thing. Why is he not on the President's Cup? I said the same thing.
Huh.
I said the exact same thing. So we'll research that before next week.
Rankings pretty far to get on the President's Cup side sometimes.
Yeah, you have guys like who was on the Ryder Cup team or the President's Cup team 2 years ago. I was like, how did he make the team? It was
JD. I don't know.
No, it was someone even worse than that. Well, they're not worse. They're good players, but you know what I'm saying. So, but we'll get into that here in a second.
So what happened? So now he's a dual citizen. Is he on both points lists for the President's Cup?
Yes, basically. Yes. He's on both points lists. So he's going to make someone's team.
He would go with if he qualified for both.
America. Why not? I mean, he wants to win. We win the President's Cup, though.
Maybe he wants to be a part of that team, that underdog team that finally wins for the internationals.
True. All right, so let's get into the BMW real quick. So BMW Championship ended yesterday. On Saturday, Bryson, beating the hell out the course. Friday, beating the hell out the course. I mean, literally almost driving the green on par fours, making putts from 12, 15, 20 feet.
He had a putt from 12 feet until the last hole.
That was an incredible day. Has a chance to shoot 59, misses the birdie putt, and then goes into Saturday, stays level. Cantley starts playing real well on Saturday.
He only shot 63 on Friday. It was just over.
They are tied going. They close out 21 under, and somehow, Cantley hadn't even been in form. That's what's crazy. Like, he had not been playing good.
He's so consistent. His not in form is still making cuts and.
Keep talking. I'm just grabbing my charger before my computer dies. All right, go ahead.
But I mean, because I was listening to something about that too, because people have been saying Cantley's been off, but they go back through his results. It's like, well, I mean, that's a good thing if 25th place is you're off. Like, that's fair. He's just so overlooked. I mean, going back to, he's the same high school grad here, I believe. Jordan Spieth, Justin Thomas, all those guys, and Xander Schauffele maybe, and people forget he was the number one ranked amateur in the world when he turned pro after their freshman year.
Oh yeah.
Better than Jordan Spieth, Justin Thomas, and he, now he's starting to show it. But he had some traumatic events, like his friend dying in front of his eyes 2 steps out of the book. And then, mentally, that they say was the main thing that took a toll on him, which I could imagine. And then
I could imagine too.
Physical injuries too, but it took him a little longer to get on the scene. But he's just one of those introverted type guys that's hard for fans to, I guess, root for.
He doesn't have any. He's
just basic, and but man, he's good. Like
so you've got from the playoffs so far, you had Tony Finau break a 5-year drought, win a playoff event. Patrick Cantley, when people assumed wasn't in form, but to your point, if you're top 20 every event, are you really not in form, or are you just a few shots here and there?
He wasn't playing his best,
Yeah, that's fair. And then now you've got the Tour Championship where 30 guys made it, and I'm just going to say all 30, so bear with me. And I'm going to say where they start, because for those of you who are new to this format that's been going on, I think it's the 4th year that they've had it. They start you with a score under par based on your current world golf ranking, current season ranking.
How do you feel about that?
Well, let me run it down first, and then we'll talk about how we both feel about it. So you've got now, because they give you so many points for a win, Patrick Cantley is 10 under. He jumped from being the 40th ranked person, now being the number 1 person in FedEx Cup scoring. Yes. So
he was a foreman.
So Patrick Cantley is now 10 under going into the Tour Championship. Mm-hmm. Tony Finau is 8 under going into and he was outside the top 10 going into the Tour Championship. Bryson, 7 under. Rahm, who has had the best year out of all these guys by far.
He's got to be player of the year, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's 6 under. Cameron Smith, who has probably had, other than Morikawa, one of the best years by far. He's 5 under. Then you have a group of Justin Thomas, Harris English, Abraham Answer, Jordan Spieth, and Sam Burns. They're 4 under. You've got Morikawa, Sanjay Im, Victor Hovland, Louis, Dustin Johnson. They're 3 under. Corey Connors, Hideki, Stuart Sink snuck in there with those early season wins because he's been playing terrible. But he won 2 times in the early season. Neiman, he won later in the year, so he was able to sneak in. And then Scheffler, he's just been consistent. And then the guys at even par who have no chance to win because there's no way you're going to come back when you're already 10 shots down. Berger, Van Ruin, Garcia, Horschel, and the last man standing, Patrick Reed, which I don't even think he'll play because he's still dealing with the pneumonia.
My boy Alex Noren, did you see him on 18? He had like a 5-footer to stay in the top 30. Oh man,
he blew it.
I kind of fun all the time where you decel and it just cuts the face and you miss it left.
I couldn't imagine the pressure, man, because this is millions upon millions of dollars.
Imagine the pressure of Bryson, 6-footer, 6'3" to shoot 59. I don't
know, man. Is it more pressure to win the tour championship or to shoot 59? Well, 59 is a lifetime score.
So Alex is, if money makes you more nervous, but Bryson's like your
history,
your eternity. Yeah, like your legacy. Like, what's
the lowest score ever? Jim Furyk, 58.
Jim Furyk finally broke through and got a 58, and then there's a handful, 6 or so, 59. Yeah. Okay. You know the first person ever to shoot 59?
No, who is it? This is trivia time.
Or 59, Al Geiberger.
That's a good trivia question.
It was in Memphis, and so an instructor here in Houston I taught with played in that event, and he had a card, and he said that was one of the hardest. Like that 59 is gonna always be the best 59. So I think they might have the St. Jude there now. I think it's the same course, but I forget the name. But it was one of the toughest courses on tour, par 72. And the longest course, and he shot it. He said it was just unbelievable because even par was a score at that place.
Nice. Now you posed the question before we started. How do I feel? I just think if you're starting 8 shots back on Thursday, unless the guys really blow up, I've never seen anyone come from the 2 under, 1 under, or even par guys. I've seen the 3 and 4 under sneak up there, but your winner is going to come from 5 under or above. That's just generally what it's been these last few years. But that's the benefit of playoffs.
Unless you have a Tiger-like performance in, at U.S. Open 2000 where he won by like 16.
But even still.
Johnson, the playoffs last year, won an event by 11.
But even winning by 11, if Patrick Cantley just goes 2 under par, he wins the tournament. You know what I'm saying? Because he's so far down.
But he was only 10 back, so if he were to win outright by 11, he'd still be 1 ahead.
But man, you know how improbable that is?
Yeah, it's not likely. But who's at even par? Who are the guys?
So the even par guys are Berger, Van Rooyen, Garcia, Horschel, and Reed. None of them have a chance.
Berger or Garcia, they kind of seem to get really good at times and then not so good at times.
So what's the philosophy? Okay, so you're a high-level player. You're 8 shots back with 2 rounds to go. Are you shooting for a number, or are you shooting for people ahead of you on the leaderboard?
So ironically, that section event at Memorial Park last week, so I shoot 2 under the first day. Ben Kern shoots 8 under. So I'm 6 back. And I don't really think about anything. I just try to go play. I'm thinking about my game and okay, I'm going to hit it here. I try to go to the process, I don't think about this, but I realized it. So I birdie 1, I par 2, but then I realized it on 3, I was in a different mindset and I played really well. I just didn't make the putts on the back 9, but I was like, I got to shoot 8 under to have a chance because Ben's been playing so well. Our section event 2 weeks prior, he shoots 64 at Deerwood, which was a really tough setup, and he shoots 64. He's going to shoot something under par, but he could shoot. It's hard to back up a 64 the next day. And I just started swinging aggressively, and I was confident, and I was just trying to get to 8 under. And I knew if I could get to 8 under, it's not improbable for him to shoot even par. Because, at Deerwood, Carlos Sands shot 65, 75, or 76. That happens all the time. But Ben is just playing so good. I'm like, if I can get to 8 under, so that'd be 6 under the second round, I would have a chance. And what do you know? When I get in, I finish at 6 under, and they were at 8 under.
Yeah. So you shoot for a number then. So you're saying
I think so, yeah. But that kind of I didn't go into the round. I guess I did because Tori asked me when I left because she doesn't know golf, and she thought I had a chance to win, but in my head I didn't even think about that. I just wanted to play well because, I'm just trying to prove to myself, build confidence that I'm playing well again. And and I was like, if I shoot something mid 60s, I should have a chance. And I did that at Golf Club Houston 2 tournaments ago. So yeah, maybe that's why I thought of it too, like when I was playing. And but yeah, I was trying to get to 8, but really, I mean, I still, which I think is a good thing, and that's just how I train myself, is to just like focus on the shot at hand. It sounds really cliche. And I battle not thinking about like the future. It's like everyday life, right? Like if you can stay in the present, you're not going to have as much anxiety. So I've been working on that too. And so I did a good job of that. I just, I hit good putts, and on that back 9, I only shot 1 under, but I had so many 10, 12, 15 footers, and I just, just a little off. But yeah, I was trying to get to a number, and that just kind of came upon when I was like at that 5 under mark. I was like, I got 3 birdie holes ahead of me. Like I can get to that 8 under, and that's really probable he shoots even, So I think, and I felt comfortable. I think everybody just has to find their way. They probably have different approaches, because usually I don't like picking a target score. I just like picking a mentality. I'm going to be aggressive. I'm going to
aggressive. Yeah.
Stuff like that. But then when I came down to it, I was like, get to 8, because I knew I was playing good. And maybe that's why I didn't make the putts either. I was just trying a little too hard. I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a process. And all these guys, like most of them, except for a few newbies, have played at East Lake before. So they're going to be familiar with the course. They're going to know where to hit it, where to miss it. They're going to know where they can be aggressive, et cetera.
That's what's hard for the young guys. And, I never really, and you probably don't realize it either. I didn't realize it until I played a tour event. But like when I played the course like 5-10 times, it's like my home course. Like I know where to miss. I feel more free. But like these rookies, they get a practice round, a couple practice rounds. But those other guys, I played here 10 years in a row, and so they're so much more comfortable.
Yep. So the, one of the things that I would say, if I'm looking at the field, the way Finau got the, proverbial monkey off his back, a guy like him being right there and Bryson being within 3 shots.
How about Bryson? Can we just talk about Bryson for a second?
Let's talk about him.
So he works a lot on his mental game, because one time he came out with this issue. He had trained his brain too much with this like focus span type like technology. Yeah. And he was mentally exhausted, which I'm like, when you work on your mental game, you're trying to calm your mind. Like, I don't get what he's talking about, but I didn't really hear the full story either. But so when he had that 6 foot 3 inches for 59, I'm sorry, but I don't believe he thought he was going to break 2.5 balls from 6 feet up the hill.
Agreed. I'll agree.
He's smarter than that, and he has every geometrical reading right in front of him to know that. Just like in the playoff, he had a 6 foot 2 inch, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Do the same thing. That's what happens under pressure.
On the other side, though, in the final, in the Friday round, he missed it low side. In the playoff, he
missed that high side.
High side and then low side. Yeah.
It was going to go right, but it was a left center putt.
Left side. Yep.
And so he tugged it, and that's what happens. But then he tugged it again, because he even in the regulation 18th hole, he saw the line. He missed both of them left. So we need to text Como and say, you need to work on this guy's putting under pressure, because that's 3 putts that I watched that all missed left. And so here's my question about it. Still,
let's get away from his mental. I think Bryson is a guy who is. This is gonna sound bad. Don't bash me. He's a guy who's finally cool, and when you're finally cool, you are trying out all these different things to stay cool. Like the stuff that he's doing with
me with my gadgets.
You've. Look, when I say cool, I'm not talking about popular or anything like that. I'm talking about people are finally giving him the attention that I think he felt like he should have always had.
Yeah.
Okay. So what happens when that happens, not only do you get a brain break at times, but you're also trying all this BS, like his workout videos, his muscle milk, his gaining weight, losing weight, his COVID answers. Like all the random stuff that he's doing.
And none of his answers ever make sense. Like,
nothing.
He's always asked backwards. That's what his old roommate said. Like he's not a scientist. He's just weird. He's a nice guy, but it's everything. It doesn't work.
But it's the first time that, and I could imagine. It's the first time that he's really just got the attention on him, and it's hard. It is hard, probably in a position like him, to be the first time to have this much of attention.
And he's trying to prove because he's so outside the box, which I like that. He's always trying to find a way to get better.
Yeah.
And it's outside the box. Some people think it's crazy, but he's changed the game.
He's changed the game.
To change the game since Tiger. So, you've got to give it to him in that respect. But, maybe he feels that pressure over those winning putts or 59 putts to prove himself because those haters that why is he doing this? He's ruining himself.
Guys come to tournaments with Brooks, Koepka shirts like they're wearing
Brooks Koepka, by the way. If you the tournament, but Brooks is one.
Brooks is cool.
Brooks won the battle of it's gotten cool. It's affected Bryson.
Yes, look, I'm telling you, man. When you can just walk out and be confident in yourself. Brooks doesn't give a, I'm going to cuss. So
I'm not sure Bryson is.
Brooks does not give a fuck if he makes the cut or wins.
Yeah.
Bryson, that dude is in his head like the whole time.
And that's crazy because you can see it. Like elite athletes usually can't see that.
Yes, you can see
that's,
it.
I guess what I'm getting at, like you can see it. Like it plays a toll on them. And
it does. And Now we'll wrap this one up because again, next week we'll break down what we saw in the Tour Championship. Also get prepared for the Ryder Cup and kind of talk through who we think should be the final four captain selections. Because right now the top six is pretty well set. Finau snuck his way with the win into the top six. So your top six already.
Cantley in there?
I didn't hear you.
Is Cantley in top six?
He was already top six. So your top six are Spieth, Cantley, Schauffele, Brooks, Bryson, and now Finau. So those are pretty much set. And then there's the four captains picks that are kind of debatable at this point. So
I'm going to look more into that.
So we'll look that up as we go along. But you just recently played Memorial. You alluded to it when you talked about your event. Houston Open will be here in October, which we got to take a day to go out there and just walk around.
I definitely, now that I've played it, I want to go out. I hope I can get another opportunity to play because that golf course is fun. And I've heard, I don't know what the negative remarks were, but we had the rough grown up like they do because that's really the only course's defense. And the front nine is a little more narrow, Okay. I like long par fives, but then the back nine gives you some risk reward, really good risk reward, par five, drivable par four. And the par threes are like wet. But first day, my only two bogeys were on the two par threes. I was hitting a pitching wedge too, because the greens are just like crazy. You got to hit it on like a 10-foot plateau. And if you don't hit a perfect shot, but that's cool to me because you don't see that anymore. Memorial made it really big and long, but they mixed in those like precision, really cool like pitching wedge holes, but it's hard to make par, Okay.
So what do you expect to see when the tour players get here? Give people a little insight right now. What is the most difficult hole? What is the easiest hole on the course?
So what I think is interesting, the easiest hole would probably, easiest hole. So it's hard to say. So I think they played number one. We played it all the way back as like a 530, 540 par five. Now that is a par four from 500. That's a tough hole.
That is a tough hole. Whoa. Yeah.
Yeah, but number 8, it's 600. We played it all the way back at 625. And that's a hard first shot, a hard second shot. Just, I had to make a 6-footer for par the first day. And then I had a 40-footer for birdie second day. So that's not an easy hole. I'm trying to think. There's not really, that's what I liked about it. There's not an intimidating hole out there. Like it may be hard, like 470, but like you have some definite, like it suited my eye at least. Like I didn't have a hole that I was like, I just got to get through this hole.
Yeah.
But you have to hit good shots. because there's not hazards everywhere, but the rough's thick and you got some trees. So if you hit in the rough, you can't punch out very easily, because a 5-iron is going to give not enough loft, and it's hard to control the spin. So, but I think the finish 15, 16, 17 are great holes.
Nice. Okay, so we'll try to post up at one of those finishing holes and do some walking of the course when we get a chance to get out there. So before we wrap up, anything you want to leave the people with? And I don't have my betting done right now because I'm waiting to see what they do with Patrick Reed's slot. Because
I would challenge everybody to try to be in the present in their day, like today in their life. Everything you do, because that's the hardest thing in the world to do. But if you can do it, it'll help your golf game because you won't worry about the result of your shot. You won't worry about the future. And in daily life, you won't have anxiety. Hopefully.
And from my Fast Five, I'm going to encourage people to figure out how to get off the tee on the first hole. First holes are my problem.
That's it.
Whatever reason.
I got to put my grip. I got to check the stance. I got to breathe. I got to swing smooth.
When I play with someone, the first hole, I look like I've never picked up a golf club. But then after that, it's perfect.
I spoke about my freshman year driver yips. That first hole, I had that issue.
Yeah,
it was.
I got to figure that out.
He challenged me because I hated it so much. I would get to the first tee like 5 minutes ago. You're supposed to get there like 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
And but then I yip it like out of bounds or whatever. It would be a shot of the day. He said,
I got to figure that out.
And just look at the shot, breathe, get that breathing routine going. All of a sudden, it became my best shot of the day. And if I could do that for every shot, but it's hard to stay in that.
It is.
Present state and, focusing on what you need to do versus worrying about what could happen.
And college football starts Saturday. OU plays Tulane. If the hurricane didn't mess up the stadium, they may move that game to Norman. So
they're playing at Tulane.
It was at Tulane. Yeah, it was at Tulane.
That's like at a home, right? Like a game like that.
Yeah, but it's one of those games where they exchanged some money to have OU come to their place for OU to beat them by 70. So but with the hurricane, hopefully everything is well.
What's the preseason ranking? Who's won?
We're 3. It's Bama, Clemson, OU.
So similar to the last 10 years.
Basically, that's college football at its finest. So that's been episode 52 of the Golf Performance Podcast. If you like what you heard, follow on Instagram at golf_pod. You can search on any of the platforms that have a podcast, Golf Performance Group, and YouTube, the Golf Performance Group page. JJ, give your handles, sir.
At JJ Wood Golf.
And you can follow
at Golf Performance Group.
Yes, that's what I was gonna do it for you. If you
our podcast is on the at Golf Performance Group on YouTube.
Yep, and you can follow me at Lebronald Palmer. That is LeBron and Arnold Palmer combined. That's been episode 52. We're out.